So we have our main event.
So before we get to that, you forgot to signify who won the previous match with what move.
It was a frog splash with Norte winning. Honestly, like I said, it was just a very boring match. Nobody cared.
Right. Anyways, we're moving on now.
You couldn't pay me to possibly fucking care.
Main event, the better trios match.
The better trios match, but still, it was a clunky, hardcore mess, and I did not like it.
Los Mercenarios, which was Rey Escorpion,
On Taurus and Deonna Jr. versus Los Psycho Circus, which is Monster Clown,
Circus.
Same thing. Psycho Clown, Monster Clown, and Murder Clown. So it was a hardcore match. So at least there was some cushion there to where when you have a hardcore match, you really don't have to.
It was kind of a boring hardcore match.
It was a very boring match.
But it was the better of the two trios.
Right.
Matches.
There was actually rivalries going into this, and they built it, and everybody here is competent, so it was there. But at the same time, they were phoning in this whole goddamn pay-per-view, which sucks because this is one of their 5 fucking pay-per-views.
Right.
And this is something that you just don't phone in. And I'll talk about this when we make this bullshit Majestic again. But it's so goddamn frustrating. And of course somebody's gonna spam my shit now.
Right.
Obviously it had to happen now. Anyway, it was clunky. It was kind of boring. It was fine. I mean, I guess it was better because, the rivalry between Psycho and Escorpion was really promoted here, and I was really happy about that.
Right.
But it was like a reverse suplex into a little board of tacks for the Mercenaries to win. Oh, also, this was for the 6-man tag team champion.
Yes, for the trios champion.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was for a champion, which you couldn't have literally possibly have cared.
Right. I mean, literally, it was a nothing sandwich.
It really was.
Right.
So, after that, I mean, honestly, do you have, any other thoughts about the pay-per-view?
Nope.
Or anything like that?
Not at all.
Well, when we come back, we are going to be going to heckling, and Peanut Gallery is going to talk about
the laws of Lucha Libre.
All right, so join us for that. So we are back. Peanut Gallery. How are we going to make AAA Verano del Summer of Struggle bullshit and
Escandalo
Pro Wrestling Majestic? Again, let's talk about the first one on my little list. Let's talk about the...
No, before we start that, why don't we start with fucking space?
Oh, yeah. So, here's what happened. So, our initial plan for doing the commentary of the show. Doing the show was actually supposed to be on Saturday. And we're recording this on that Monday. The problem is that Space did not have audio for the first 2 matches.
At least the first 2 matches.
Yes, at least the first 2 matches. They finally got it, but Peanut Gallery and I, especially where there's no English commentary and you have to watch it, it's hard. And it was incredibly challenging, and we were getting really frustrated.
Yeah.
So me trying to make dinner and figure why this is going on, we decided to wait because, well, number one, Independence Day is observed right now.
Right.
So it's not like we were doing a whole lot, and our guy who always gets our shows got them at a decent time right after the fact. And also, and I will at least say one thing, AAA didn't make it Majestic again because they did a replay of the show on the Space Network because they did fuck up. And it was hard to find it. A lot of people were complaining about it, so they decided to do a replay. So honestly, I cannot fault them for this. It was something out of their control.
Yep.
They tried to do their best, but guess what? They made up for it. Right. So I'm not even mad about that.
Let's talk about something else really cool. I like the Vineyard.
Yes. So the one thing that I even think we said on when we talked about the last AAA event is that they have been extremely creative and very great about their venue choices. Mm-hmm. And this one was no different. The one thing that I did have a complaint about is that between the entrance and the ring itself
were the announcers.
So they had to go up and around the announcers, do their poses halfway down the ramp because they were there. Also, were those fans in attendance?
Yes.
Right near the commentators.
Yes.
There was like a little row of people. There were probably no more than maybe, 25, 30 people?
Yeah.
But there were people. But it was right next to it. It was probably nice.
It was still pretty quiet, though, so I don't think they were allowed to cheer or anything. But
I'm pretty sure they weren't able to, but it was fine. At the very least, there were people there, and we'll definitely get more of that at Triple Mania because we're going to have a packed house.
Right.
So, other than that...
Has that been confirmed?
I do know that they are going to have fans in attendance. I'm not sure how many or what the restrictions are.
Right. Anyways, so let's move on to the first match.
So it was the mixed tag.
Like I said, this match would have been better off being the penultimate main event just because the trios matches were very underwhelming.
Right. They should have opened up with the Laredo Kid versus Puerto del Norte matches.
Yeah, they should have.
That should have been the opener. The match itself was fine.
It was a very engaging match.
It was fine. I mean, I liked it. I thought everybody did really well. The one thing that bothered me is that I'm getting mixed messages on who the fuck is the champion. The original intention of this match was for the vacant champions.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, you have the former champions come out
with the belts.
They had the belts.
And I confirmed that, too. Currently, the titles are vacant.
They're vacant. What the fuck?
Right.
I'm getting mixed messages and them doing this flip-floppy, blah-blah-blah bullshit.
They're setting up for what is going to be a really good triple mania match for the mixed tag belts.
And here's also the other thing. Obviously being somebody who does not speak fluent Spanish, not knowing why Maximo was not in this match because he ran interference too.
Right.
He ran interference.
That's the other weird thing.
There was no replay or anything of the build up to this. I kind of wish they did that maybe during some of the entrances or right before the match itself to really get some context, even with somebody who does not know that. Oh my God. Mamba beat Maximo to replace him in the mixed tag. I could have visually seen that, understood it, and it would have made sense. But then all of a sudden, Maximo's not in the match, but he runs interference. Why? And especially if you're a novice, you're not going to be watching every fucking show.
Right.
So, other than that, it was fine. I'm not mad about it.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next match.
Yeah, it still should be some solid shit.
Well,
okay. Here's the thing. There's not a lot to say about this. This was a debut of somebody who's going to be a triple mania.
Yep, it was very much a Deonna Purrazzo match.
It was a showcase.
If you're a fan of Mexican wrestling, I can see why that you're not interested in this match just because of the pace.
Right.
But
it was fine. I would say that maybe, and I do know that they did build this match somewhat. I kind of wish there was some more light on Lady Shani. She kind of looked like, she was thrown to the wolves a little bit.
Yeah.
And Lady Shani's not a person to job, so I feel like they did this because Lady Shani is a decent worker. But I kind of wanted some more context because once again, and we bitch about this all the fucking time. Wrestling is a multi-part stage theater. Right. It's not just about the action in the ring. It's the people who are involved. It's the story. It's how it's presented, which is another bitch fest and a half.
Right.
The lighting was dog shit.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredibly distracting.
Yeah.
And it pissed me off.
They didn't do a good job with the lighting.
The crane, they cut to that stupid-ass crane every 10 goddamn minutes. That
and the production wasn't very good either.
No, it wasn't. Other than that, I had a bitch fest. And obviously, the bright yellow ring mat. That's annoying, but I'm getting used to it. And then with this match, it was just a showcase for Purrazzo.
Now, before we move on, though, let's talk about the Trofeo Arez de Oro match because we don't have a card for that one.
We did we did not know any of the participants for the Arez de Oro match at all.
But let's talk about it. I mean, it was one of the better matches of the night, so
I wanted more context of what this was. They haven't had this event in a while.
That's true.
And once again, with pro wrestling, you need context for something, even if you just bring it back. I mean, the last...
and, the other thing, too, is we talked about the multi-hair versus hair matches and stuff that happened at these events traditionally. We didn't have one of those this year.
Right.
We had a setup for one, but we didn't have one.
Well, they had the build-up for it, and it's fine, and I understand, and I think they're trying to stay away from that for now because... It's the first one back since 2019, and they're just coming back. And I think they were really wanting to do hair, mask with fans.
Right.
Because part of the
part of it is the fact that they're fans.
Right, and I think that's why they're waiting for Triple Mania to do that. So I'm not going to fault them for doing this in substitute of a hair, mask, blankety blank, career. Where careers actually usually aren't at these events. It's more hair, mask combination of the three. So The Arez Oro, I liked it a lot. It was a showcase for Vikingo. The problem is, why are they giving him a trophy? Why not have him go for a belt? I would love to see a build-up. Maybe even with this, I kind of wish maybe like Laredo Kid or something came out. You're my next contender. Let's do it at Triple Mania. Let's book that shit and make some goddamn money. Because obviously now with seeing Vikingo and Laredo Kid, that would sell.
Right.
So why they didn't, I won't know. And it's kind of annoying that they didn't. He just gets a stupid little trophy, call it a fucking day. Anyway, other than that, there were some rivalries that were built within there. Latigo did not shake the hand of Vikingo, so there might be something there, which I'm not mad about because he was the one who ate the pin.
Right.
So that is what it is. Let's talk about this 6-man tag. So number one, I wouldn't have done in the first place. This was a nothing sandwich, and why the fuck did Poder del Norte win?
Right.
They're not going for any titles. They're, to my knowledge,
that was my thing too.
And to my knowledge, they're not even on the Triple Mania card. Can you check that for me?
They're not.
They're not. Why did they win with people who are going to be in Triple Mania? Laredo Kid is in Triple Mania. I wish he was defending the fucking belt, but he's there. He's on the card, right?
Yeah, he's going for the tag team, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's going for the tag team. Niño Hamburguesa, he was there, whatever, and then obviously with Faby Apache,
right?
Being in one of the marquee title matches, there's definitely more things there. Why did they make them lose?
Niño Hamburguesa ate the pin.
He did eat the pin, but why did Poder del Norte win in the first place? I don't understand why they did this. And also, why wasn't there another woman to have against Faby Apache? Obviously, it's a little bit different, but when you're trying to cater to an American audience especially, you kind of have to have that little bit of tit for tat. It was definitely an unfair advantage. Sorry, hate to tell you, but there was no reason for Poder del Norte to win. Zero reason. That was really stupid. And so what I would have thought, well, number one, I would have definitely booked a better trios matches. I probably could have thought of 10 better matches than this bullshit.
Speaking of bullshit, let's move on to the main event. This one actually had something going into it, which was fine.
And as I'm struggling, there we go. Okay, so really the only match, because I think Taurus and Texano are actually in the tag team title match, if I'm not mistaken.
Texano is not. Taurus is, yes.
Okay, Taurus is. Texano isn't. What about that 6-man? I thought Taurus was in that 6-man. I'm talking about the tag team title match.
Yeah, no, Taurus is in the tag team title match, but his partner is to be announced.
Oh, what about Texano? Is Texano on Triple Mania at all?
No.
What? That's weird as shit.
There's no Texano up here.
Texano's not in Triple Mania?
Not yet.
Weird. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he'll be the tag team partner. Come on. It's Texano, and they're already in a tag team. It's the Mercenarios. Here's the issue here once again. I mean, the 6-man tag is fine, but my God, does every main event have to be a hardcore match?
Yes. That's just tradition.
Ugh. It's so frustrating. It's man, I just want a nice, easy, let's have a match.
Right.
Honestly, if you want to cater to that audience, I'm sorry.
Right.
I would rather have a technical masterpiece at the main event or a crazy lucha libre bullshit than let's roll out of the ring and hit each other in the head with a bunch of crap and call it a fucking day.
Right.
It's the same thing over and fucking over. I cannot legitimately get invested.
Right.
And honestly, I hate saying it, I was not invested in this match. This was a throwaway match.
Oh, yeah.
And it was for the Trios champions.
Right.
And they did no booking on actually promoting that it was for the Trios champions.
Right.
If you did not know, there would have been no fucking way you would have known at all.
Right.
They did, even after the Mercenarios didn't celebrate with the belts, they clearly don't give a shit.
Right.
For God's sake.
Right. There was a little more focus on what was going on with the.
If the rivalry was a rivalry, whatever, but it was for the titles. The titles should be the main focal point of a title match.
Right.
Not the now the rivalry is there, but the rivalry should be the means to the end.
Right.
Not the end. And the fact that they totally threw away these trios champions, it's like, goddamn, New Japan Pro Wrestling is fucking killing it with the 6-man tag and having them in great matches and making them feel important. This match did not make these titles feel important. They felt like props. Goddamn, I think the women's tag team champions in WWE feel more prestigious than these goddamn 6-man tag. I'm sorry.
Are you done?
I just hate it when like a company does really good booking wrestling and then they skip out on these really basic, easy details that ruin championships. And championships are not just props. Championships
in Mexico, they are props. There's much, again, a lot more emphasis is placed on mask versus mask and mask versus hair matches.
And this actually, the one between Escorpion and Psycho is actually going to be a mask versus hair.
That's what they were emphasizing with this match. I know it's not ideal, but they don't care. Obviously, CMLL has like 28 titles. They don't give a fuck about titles.
And here's the other thing. So number one, this is not CMLL. This is AAA.
I know, but they don't give a fuck. They give more of a fuck about titles than CMLL does. But it's Mexico. They don't care about titles.
And here's the other thing I did not like about this match. They ripped Psycho Clown's mask. And then they took off the mask at the ending segment. If you really wanted to emphasize this, I kind of wish Psycho Clown maybe put more emphasis about maybe ripping out the hair of a Scorpion. Like, using moves to pull on the hair. And they did not do that. If you do it for the mask, great. But I want that more emphasis on that. It felt lazy. This felt like a lazy match. Nobody cared.
All right.
Nope. Nobody. Anyway, so before I continue, I fucking hate it when shit is so goddamn easy. Anyway, so thank you all for listening to Tiger Heights fucking TED Talk.
Fucking rant here. Jesus. Next week we have Summer Struggle in Sapporo. That's a 2-nighter. And we have Best in the World.
So there's going to be no wrestling lesson. There's going to be no heckling.
We're going to be doing a marathon.
Oh, it's going to be fun, though. I'm really excited about it. And if you guys did enjoy this, remember to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. Leave it down in the comments below. Did you watch the show? What did you think about this show? We would definitely like to hear from you guys.
Obviously, Tiger Height over here has some fucking opinions.
I have opinions about everything. That's why we do this.
Jesus.
Become a patron because, we'll be adding shows. So one of them will be CMLL at some point in time. We will cover the anniversary shows because that's their WrestleMania. But that is one of the shows that we will be adding on along with Impact Plus, along with Pro Wrestling Noah. So become a patron. It's $5. You get some cool shit, including exclusive merch and all that wonderful stuff. And as always, be
majestic.